obviously yesterday. Joining us now from D.C. With his thoughts, Republican Senator from Florida, George LeMieux, member of the Commerce Committee. Your thoughts on what you watched last night, Senator?
Well, Joe, I thought that it was some good talk, but what I'd like to see is some action. I met with the president yesterday for about an hour in Pensacola, and we talked about a variety of issues. And what we need is some active management, and I think that's what we're missing here, and that's what I implored him to do. We need some Jack Welch-style management to go down and hold people accountable. For example, we have about 32 skimmers off the coast of Florida. You would think that we would have 320 skimmers off the coast of Florida. Today, a large plume of oil that is 2 miles wide and 40 miles long that came up, they think, from the bottom, and it's a thicker, heavier oil, is right off the coast of Pensacola. So I pressed the president for that. Let's get more skimmers there. Thad Allen, the admiral of the Coast Guard, tells us that there are 2,000 in this country. We hear reports that there are foreign skimmers available. State Department yesterday says 21 offers from foreign countries have been refused. That makes no sense to me. What I want to see is the president actively engaged, managing this, measuring it, setting out performance goals, following up, and doing what any CEO would do at a time of crisis.
No, there's the problem. The CEO, did you say this stuff yesterday, Senator? Did you say, I hear there's 2,000 of these around and the rest of the world has them and we got 32, where are they? What was the answer?
The answer was, well, you know, Thad Allen wants to get as many here as possible, and you know he wants to get him here. And I said, well, let's get him here. And he said, on the foreign issue, he said, no, we're getting help from foreign countries. I said, well, the State Department today said what I just told you, so obviously we need to clean up that communication issue because it seems like we're refusing help. And, you know, 32 skimmers sounds like me and my buddies got boats and went out and tried to do it. But it doesn't sound like the federal government's response.
We're used to, you know, some people love the government, some people don't. But to people that aren't that crazy about it, this seems like business as usual. Did you really expect this large, unwieldy bureaucracy to be able to deliver what you'd like it to deliver? Aren't you? I mean, that seems like a pipe dream.
Well, maybe it is, but I've watched good leaders, governors in situations like this. Jeb Bush, when we had almost 9 or 10 hurricanes in 2004, 2005, spend 12, 14 hours a day in the Emergency Operations Center. I was in the Attorney General's office at the time. He was pushing people for answers. When they would say they couldn't do something, he would say, you're going to do it, you're going to get it done by this time. And he was constantly following up with people. He was measuring and he was managing and he was getting things done. And that's what we need to see out of this president. So,
Senator, where's the breakdown? What's not happening?
Well, I want to be hopeful, Becky, that he's going to get it done now and that we had a good conversation yesterday and we're going to see some more energy and activity and urgency out of the executive branch. I mean, BP's got to pay for this. No one doubts that. No one debates that. But the President of the United States, this is a national emergency, and presidents can get things done. They can overcome objections. They can push through problems, and that's what we need to see out of him.
No.
No.
Amen.
We need like a Jack Welch doing it. This problem would be solved.
Well,
I'm not sure of that, but your recipe is just right.
Well, you know, I remember Katrina, and I don't know. I still don't know where the weak link is. Would you say it's Thad Allen at this point? He didn't make the call to bring in the skimmers, or where is it? I still don't understand.
Well, I don't understand either. I like Thad Allen a lot. I have a lot of respect for him. I've worked with him over the years. But, you know, he is the head of the Coast Guard. And it's different than being the CEO, the President of the United States. And you need this man to be engaged. The President is a smart guy. But you can't outsource this to BP. You can't outsource this to Jane Lubchenco at NOAA or Ken Salazar at Interior or Napolitano at Homeland Security. This is the kind of thing where the American people want to see leadership. And I'm hoping that after, you know, he got the message yesterday, we had a very frank conversation. The governor was there, who's been on the job, by the way, Governor Christ, as well as Jeff Miller, who's the congressman from Pensacola. And we had a very good conversation. So I'm going to look for some action. He said he wants to leave no stone unturned. I said I want to see no skimmer left in port.
It's not just the skimmers. I mean, it's big equipment, things like the sand dredgers that could be on the beaches in different areas. It seems like there are equipment failures along the line, hearing from local politicians on the ground who have been begging for that for weeks and who have not gotten any response.
Well, and Becky, that's right. We've learned that some of the assistance that was offered by foreign companies was also to do the dredging to build like the barrier islands that Governor Jindal in Louisiana has pressed for. And look what he had to struggle through to get that done. I mean, he had to basically set himself on fire to get the Army Corps of Engineers to finally approve that plan. And they were like, well, it may not work. Well, it's something. And, you know, that's what leaders do. They try things out. And maybe it won't work, and then they'll try something else. But you have to have some action and activity and urgency. That's what the people want to see.
But the first 10 minutes of the speech, we heard that the administration jumped into action like the day after and was fully engaged the entire time. That is simply spin, simply not true?
It's not true from the best I can tell. Yeah. There was a plan in place in the middle 90s, and this was reported by the Mobile Register on April 29th. There was a plan in place that NOAA had to put out fire retardant boom within 24 hours of any oil spill, and then light the oil on fire, this in situ burning. And the goal there and the belief was that you could stop 90% of the oil from spilling if you burned it right away. Because the problem is, as you know, is once the oil spreads out in the water, it's not really flammable anymore. It gets diluted. That plan wasn't followed. Now, where was the fire retardant boom? Did they not have it? Did they just say, no, we're not going to burn the oil? We're going to ask those questions later in all these congressional hearings, but what I want to see right now is them to stop that oil from leaking on the bottom of the ocean. Since the president spoke last night, another 1 million gallons has spilled into the Gulf of Mexico. Wow. We got to stop the leak, and we've got to do everything we can to prevent it from coming ashore. When it does, mitigate the impact of this. I like this idea about setting up a fund. I actually proposed that along with some others in early May. You know, have an evergreen fund that BP puts $1 billion or so in, and that money is there to pay claims. That's going to be good for the businesses that are suffering on the Gulf Coast. I hope they get that done, but they can't put so much money in it that you put BP out of business. We need BP to continue to operate, not only because they're a company who employs a lot of people, but we also need to make sure the money is available so people can get their claims paid.
You know, a common spin, Senator, seems to be that BP has been lying all along. I find it impossible to believe that the CEO of BP was coming to work knowing one set of facts and then was absolutely changing those facts in discussions with other people. Don't you think we can challenge tomorrow's hearing? You can get at the bottom of that. Did BP knowingly lie? I don't think so. I don't think any company in a problem like this would do it. Did they operate effectively? No. Did they do everything right? No. But did they lie? I don't think so.
Well, we'll find out. I met with Tony Hayward and Lamar McKay, the two BP executives, you know, a week after this happened, which is, it strikes me that the president shouldn't be waiting 58 days to meet with them to get this done. But, you know, we'll find out what happened. Obviously, huge mistakes, grievous errors were made. That's why this spill happened. But right now, I want to stop the oil from spilling and stop the oil from coming ashore in Florida and the rest of the Gulf.
Okay, Senator LeMieux, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.